We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are sent to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. Get off this fucking neck! Let me shoot you! Can't fucking breathe! So let me shoot you! We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports, and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Ben Bronco. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Friday, you're probably just as confused what the fuck is going on as we are. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to a rare bonus show on a Friday evening. Now, we do not traditionally do any kind of Friday evening shows here on the I'm No Joe channel, specifically not between the I'm No Joe podcast and the actual event itself. Generally, we do our Thursday night show, the fights go up on Saturday. You'll see us again on Sunday night to hold ourselves accountable for all that shit talking we do when we do the What Did I Say show. We generally don't do Fridays like this, but we also generally don't have the unprecedented situation that we currently do. So before we get into all this fucking craziness, first and foremost, how the fuck are you doing over there, brother?
I would say pretty fucking tired, but honestly, with everything that's gone on today, I feel like Vin Dog the Booty Hog snorting some fucking lines of booger sugar off of hookers' asses, man.
Asses, man, yeah. Man, I tell you, just when you thought 279 couldn't throw you a fucking curveball any harder. So let's start this off at the very tippity fucking top here. Originally, we kind of hinted at it a little bit during the I'm No Joe podcast yesterday that there was some shit going on in what was supposed to be the UFC 279 pre-fight press conference. Well, we never actually got an official 279 pre-fight press conference. We got Kevin Holland and Daniel Rodriguez sat next to Dana White on a stage for 3 questions, 2 of which were what the fuck is going on, and no one answered. And then we saw Tony and the Leech get ready to get brought out, but never made it that far because, like you saw from the thumbnail of this picture, the lead publicist for the UFC, or the head of public relations rather, for the UFC, came up to Dana on stage and let him know exactly how crazy the shit backstage had gotten. And the UFC, for the first time in pay-per-view UFC history, canceled a press conference and then subsequently did not release any UFC embedded for today regarding yesterday's activities. So why would they have done that? Well, here's the thing. We don't have 100% undeniable confirmation truth yet because somehow the UFC has managed to keep every single video of what happened backstage completely locked down into an airtight canister up Dana's ass right now. Nobody has any fucking videos, no pictures, no fucking audio recordings of anything that fucking happened backstage. But we have had several people who were allegedly involved in the craziness that got us to where we are now come out and do interviews since this all happened. What we've been able to gather for the most part is that what initially happened is, as everything was getting ready to come off and go for the press conference, Paulo Costa somehow made his way backstage in the arena. To be clear, Paulo should not have been there at all. He has nothing to do with his card. He should not have been allowed in this building, period. But somehow, not only did he get into the building, he made it backstage and past security and walked right up to Khamzat Chimaev, talking shit in a continuation of what you will see on the embedded series from earlier in the week, where Paulo started shit with Khamzat at the UFC PI. Well, apparently Paulo was not done with it and decided to pick up where they left off at the PI backstage at the fucking press conference yesterday. Apparently there were no actual fisticuffs to come from that arrangement, but it did apparently get Khamzat all kinds of riled up. And when the security guard, Tiki or something, Tiki, something like that, one of the main security guys for the UFC, managed to get Paulo Costa the fuck away from the situation and turn around to come back. Khamzat, on his 30 some odd person fucking crew that he was wandering around with, had apparently turned their focus from Paulo Costa to the 75 plus person entourage of Nick Diaz. Well, needless to say, when you have Nick Diaz and you have Nate Diaz and you have 75 of their lackeys anywhere, it's potential for fuckery. And then in this situation, when you got the already heated fucking rivalry between him and Khamzat, now Khamzat's all fired up from the fucking Paulo Costa shit. Well, before he can even make it over to the Diaz camp, Khamzat sees Kevin Holland. If you guys have been following MMA and the UFC specifically for the last couple months, Kevin Holland and Khamzat have had several run-ins with each other over the last year or so. The first one beginning with them bumping into each other in the hallway and Khamzat literally thinking that Kevin Holland was just a black bellhop at the fucking hotel. Needless to say, things did not start off great between those two and has only gone downhill from there. And then while Khamzat is in his fucking Costa-induced rage state, here comes Kevin Holland. Well, rumor has it that Khamzat, seeing Kevin Holland, immediately started walking towards him, and Kevin Holland, being the big mouth that he is, literally started telling Khamzat, why don't you come on over here and I'll give you that free haircut, buzz that fucking dome. You've been ducking me long enough. We might as well just clean that fucking face up for you. Use code Holland for Manscaped, 20% off or some shit like that. Well, Khamzat apparently didn't think it was very funny and just walked straight up and fucking Sparta kicked Holland in the middle of the fucking chest, which set everything off. And then while that melee was happening, that's when the Diaz entourage, rather, apparently made their way in. And there was allegedly 15 to 20 small individual fights taking place at the same time, with more people fighting than there were security guards to stop them, because this was just supposed to be a fucking press conference. There weren't supposed to be this many fucking people there to begin with. So, for the first time in UFC pay-per-view history, Dana cancels the UFC 279 press conference. Well, if that didn't tell you that the weigh-ins were going to get spicy, nothing would have. Well, I don't think anyone was prepared for just how crazy and spicy the weigh-ins actually fucking got today. So, let me pull this up here real quick. There we go. So, right out of the gate, before the weigh-ins even start, we find out that the Irene Aldana versus Macy Chiasson fight is in rumors of being canceled, and then at the last minute is not canceled, but is amended to a last-minute catch weight fight at 140 pounds. Macy Chiasson comes in at 139.5. Looked absolutely fine. And then shortly after that, Irene Aldana stepped on the scale at 137.5, but looked like death. There's no fucking way she ever would have made 35. She barely was able to stand up long enough to get weighed in at 137.5. Setting a strange precedent. So here we go. We're moving on along. And then Hakeem Dawodu comes in, weighs in at 149.5 for his featherweight fight against Julian Erosa, with just 35 minutes left on the weigh-in clock. Weird, especially for Hakeem Dawodu. Well, it gets even fucking stranger. So next come walking in Chris Barnett, who we talked about a little bit on the show, and I have posted the link to what he has got going on in the Discord. Chris Barnett shows up for the first time in his career, 267.5 pounds. He is officially weighed a pound and a half over the heavyweight ceiling limit. Now things are getting fucking weird. But then we start getting rumors on the weigh-in broadcast, rumors being expressed that Khamzat Chimaev is having medical issues, that Khamzat Chimaev was told by doctors that he's not going to make the suggested 170-pound weight, that no one has still even seen Khamzat Chimaev in the physical weigh-in building, with now 20 minutes left to go of scale time. Well, then Khamzat makes his way in only shortly after Nate Diaz made his way in and weighed in at 171, just like expected to. No fucking issues on the scale there. Then Khamzat comes walking in with a very mischievous grin on his face. Not sweating, not looking out of sorts, not sunk in the least bit. Steps on the scale. $178.5 pounds. Khamzat Chimaev has weighed in 7 pounds, 6.5 technically, over the allowed 1 pound limit. And I think that the weirdest part about it is that as he's stepping off the scale, he smirks and looks at the journalist and says, "I'm not surprised, motherfuckers," and then walks off. So, come to find out, allegedly, because we have no concrete confirmation here, we weren't in the room, obviously. Excuse me. Someone, we still haven't got confirmation who that someone may or may not have been, apparently got a hold of Khamzat Chimaev about 3 o'clock this morning and told him to go ahead and just stop cutting weight, that it wasn't going to be an issue either way. Khamzat said to Joe Rogan on the stage at the ceremonial weigh-ins and in an interview since then that he was told by an official to stop cutting weight, that he would have gladly cut down to try and make 170, but he was told in the middle of the night not to worry about it, that it wasn't going to be an issue anymore. Either way, he still came in almost 9 fucking pounds over, and that's a lot even to cut just day up still. That being said, we now have multiple fighters on this card who have missed weight. Then we get word, I believe it was 45 minutes, an hour later after that, no fighter that missed weight is going to attempt to reweigh. Every fighter that missed weight was subsequently given an hour to go cut whatever weight they didn't have when they initially stepped on the scale and come back for their second try. And none of them tried to go cut any more weight. Hakeem Dawood, who said when he stepped off the scale, he was done. He was not going to cut any more weight. Chris Barnett walked off this. I should probably preface this. When Chris Barnett walked onto the scale, he had a towel in his hand and was literally dripping fucking sweat and was wiping sweat off of himself as he walked up to get on the scale, dropped the towel to get on the scale. And then as soon as he stepped off the goddamn scale, literally reached over, picked the fucking towel back up, and then continued to wipe the pouring fucking sweat coming off of him. Barnett left, was gone for a few minutes, and then we got word through the backstage crew. Excuse me. Barnett was not going to try and cut any more weight either. So at this point, everything is fucking crazy. Nobody really knows what the fuck is going to happen or if this is going to happen, because the last thing a lot of us had heard was that Dana was considering just calling the entire UFC 279 event a wash and canceling the whole goddamn thing. That was a real possibility. Lucky for us, cooler heads prevailed, and they just did a little bit of the old switch and mix and flip and flop, and voila, we've got ourselves a brand fucking new 279 main card. So I will say, the Irene Aldana and the Macy Chiasson fight obviously is still there, but now is at a catch weight. The Johnny Walker versus Ian Cutelaba fight is still there. It's the only one on the main card that stayed as was originally intended. But then all of the other fights, so I should say the Johnny Walker versus Ian fight is the only fight on the main card that is not a catch weight now. Aldana versus Chiasson, catch weight at 140 now. Li Jingliang originally made weight at 170.1 to fight Tony Ferguson. Daniel Rodriguez made weight at 179.1 to fight Kevin Holland. Now they fight each other. So the shakeup starts with Li Jingliang and Daniel Rodriguez now doing a catch weight fight of 180 pounds, which obviously they both made weight for. But that moves the co-main event now to Khamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland at a catch weight of 180 pounds. And the new UFC 279 main event of the evening is official. Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson at 170 pounds. Both fighters obviously made weight and are both cleared to go. The ceremonial weigh-ins have gone off. We are officially locked in. We have almost a complete different event 24 hours after our goddamn podcast than we just talked about last night. I'm not 100% certain, but I feel like the UFC is going to last minute discount this pay-per-view. They're not going to make it free because Dana can't lose that much money. They still promised pay-per-view points to all the fighters on the main card and whatnot. So they're not going to be able to give it away free, which they should, because at this point, just the anxiety those of us that followed today alone went through should warrant a free viewing of this fucking card. But that being said, UFC don't do free pay-per-views usually. But I have a feeling that tomorrow we may see a little bit of a discount added to this one. That being said, all fucking craziness laid out on the table here. What do you think about this shit, brother?
I'm definitely fucking excited about it. I think that it's been a shit show. It's been a crazy couple of days, but it actually wound up to me turning out a little better. Like I'm more excited about these fights now than I was genuinely excited about. Like Li Liang versus Tony Ferguson. Tony and Nate to me is just such a better fight. And then the Hamzat and Holland fight. I like it because I like Kevin Holland a lot. And Hamzat is the number 2 ranked welterweight, and he really just fucked himself in the ass big time. If he gets beat by Holland, I think Holland is more dangerous, right? I still think Chimaev wins, but I think Holland is definitely more dangerous than Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was just, I thought he had a chance because he is a tough motherfucker. I didn't see Chimaev finishing. But with Holland, I think he's pretty fucking tough. I mean, Chimaev could probably finish him, but he's also dangerous. So if Chimaev gets beat, right, that puts Holland right up there in the fucking top 5. You would think you would think they're gonna fucking Dana likes Kevin Holland. They probably gave him a little extra money for fucking taking this fight.
Yeah, I'm sure there was an extra little check slid across.
Yeah, when you look at it, like Kevin Holland and Li Liang fucking like saved this card a little bit because Lee is he's fighting Daniel Rodriguez almost. He's the one taking this fucking 10-pound difference.
He took the biggest fucking step up for damn sure, in my opinion. Here,
like we were talking about earlier today in the chat and shit. Nate could have said yes, but we knew he probably wouldn't. And good on him for not. He shouldn't. There was no fucking. This was so fucking unprofessional and fucking ridiculous. I actually liked Chimaev, was kind of looking forward to seeing this. He's undefeated. He's a good fucking prospect. And now you just killed it all. Like,
yeah, I was just going to say, I think if anything, the bullshit that has happened over the course of today really, really genuinely hurt Chimaev's stock. Like, unless obviously I can't say this for certain because the world is still a fickle fucking place and people are still fucking weird. But for my money, based on what we have seen and the reaction of not only journalists, but other fighters and fans today of all the shit that we have seen play out, unless Khamzat Chimaev comes out and flatlines Kevin Holland in like 10 fucking seconds, even a fucking decision win or a fucking, a hard fought fucking late win won't cut it. Like, unless he comes out and does something spectacular to just fucking flatline Holland immediately, he's pretty much lost a lot, if not all, the fucking hype and good graces that he had built up by all the craziness in his meteoric rise by showing what an absolute sack of shit of a human being he can be over just the last 24 fucking hours. Like, I get that this is prize fighting and all, but you're still a human being. These are still your goddamn coworkers and your fucking superiors, your employers. Like, there's still a certain ethics and morality that a human being needs to conduct themselves with. And I don't know if Khamzat realized that over the last day or so. It seems like he just doesn't give a fuck. He thinks this is all part of promotion and building the fight. And that's not how this works. Like, he legitimately has painted himself as a fucking bad guy and not the haha, I'm the heel, like a genuine bad guy now.
Yeah,
that's a hard hole to dig out of, man.
A lot of people loving him to a lot of people fucking hating him real quick and fast.
Yeah.
And, hopefully the UFC, even if he winds up winning this fight, hopefully the UFC, they don't fucking reward his ass. Because he literally almost cost them an entire fucking pay-per-view card.
Yeah, any talk that he might have had previously going into this about a win would get him a fucking title shot, not a goddamn chance. Even in the event he does come out and flatline Holland now, no. That title conversation has been completely thrown the fuck out, in my opinion. Like, you basically have to start back over on the top 10 and re-earn your way up in my fucking eyes. Like,
but, I don't care if I'm so happy we got 2 fucking 5-rounders now instead of just the one. And then I can't stop thinking about it. Now the Tony versus fucking Nate is just going to be so fucking fun. I really wish that they would have let Poirier, like we were talking about as well. That would have been so fun if they would have actually signed Poirier up, because I would have loved to see that fight more. but it also would have fucked shit around for the fucking the Chandler fight that they had already set up. I know that's probably why they went ahead and did what they did. They were like,
that's my guess, because in the middle, like Christian's saying here, in the middle of all this fiasco, somebody tweeted at Dustin Poirier and said, "Hey, could you make 175 or 170 pounds by this evening?" And he posted a picture of himself standing on his scale at home at 176.6 current right now and said, "Yep, no problem." Then rumor got out to a couple of different MMA journalists that not only is that a possibility, but they had faxed over an immediate last minute contract that Dustin Poirier was going to step in and try to save UFC 279 by making that Nate Diaz fight that we almost had once upon a time. And then we didn't. And like Christian was saying, I think part of that is because as much as I would have loved to have seen that be the fight that we get for tomorrow and fuck Mike Chandler on the other end of that MSG card, unfortunately, Dana managed to do a little bit of switching and swapping and fucking puzzle piece sliding. I don't remember what those fucking mystery things are called, but he managed to get us a picture of UFC 279 renewed.
Yeah, I absolutely loved what fucking Nate said when Joe Rogan gave him the mic after the fucking face off. Oh, boy. The fucking, the America shit was good and all, but him fucking making that statement that Habib's ass was afraid to fight Tony, and then this bitch is afraid to fight me. So yeah, this just fucking makes sense. I just love it. I love how this has turned out. It's been such a fucking circus. It's been so entertaining and fucking hilarious all day today. And then we actually get to me some better fights.
Yeah, no, I agree. I will say though, for my money, the best little soundbite, I guess, would be the best title for it was Kevin Holland standing on that fucking ceremonial weigh-in stage, and Joe Rogan said, "Kevin, do you feel like this is a better fight for you?" And without missing a beat, Kevin Holland looked straight at him and went, "Fuck no, but it's gonna be fun." How can you not love that? And then we got this fucking guy popping in. How you doing, brother?
I'm just saying, there's a reason why I'm drinking tonight. I have to coach football in the fucking morning, but I started drinking for a reason, and this had a lot to do with because we say fuckery afoot for fucking with capital letters, fuckery afoot. Absolutely fucking wild. I think this is the craziest thing in the 25 years that I've been watching the UFC. This is the craziest shit that's ever happened. And I will say that with a little asterisk next to it. This is the craziest shit that's ever happened when there is not a fucking title on the line. Because there's been some crazy shit that's happened with titles on the line, but crazy overall, this shit is fucking absolutely wild. When is the last time we saw a main event for a pay-per-view miss weight by 7.5 pounds?
I don't know that we've ever seen a pay-per-view go that far.
Exactly. And then to know that, God, I hate to give credit where credit is due in this situation. God, I fucking hate to do it. But I have to do it. To give credit where credit is due. Fucking Dana White managed to keep his panties out of a wad somehow and refinagle all of the fuckery that was afoot to give us a fucking card. Because, to be honest, they could have canceled this one, no problem. Because to be honest,
part of me wants to put my tinfoil hat on because of the fact that I feel like this could have been a little set up. Maybe not last night, but just because of last night's shenanigans, because of what we heard from Hamzat, that an official in the middle of the night just told him, "No, stop cutting weight." What if that was just the thing? Dana's like, he put his Vince McMahon shoes on, and he's like, what a fucking way to promote this fucking fight. Let's fuck everything around. Let's tell Hamzat to quit cutting weight so I can switch it all around and make everybody think it was just...
Here's my question, though, to this. Did any of you guys catch what Kevin Holland put out where he said, everybody's kung fu fighting, I kick you in the solar plexus and you have to stop cutting weight? I'm wondering if anybody other than myself caught that. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he did get a bad
just think it's weird. I think it's weird that he's the one that got kicked in the solar plexus and then made a comment about it.
Well, at the same time, though, saying, and when he says that, and has anybody seen any video from backstage yet?
No, but I
No,
did
that's
see a
why I
video
got
from
my
Nate
tinfoil
Diaz.
hat on.
I was gonna say I saw a video where Nate Diaz says
WWE setup because we knew this was the shittiest card of the whole year. They're giving us the shittiest card of the year,
Well,
and
see,
they're like, "Oh, it is Nate Diaz's last fucking fight.
Right.
Let's
And
build
see-
this shit up. Let's WWE this.
Look,
How can we create storylines and get people to pay attention?
and
Because right now we just had football start last night, right? But UFC is the sport being talked about the past 2 days, like more than
Now-
football or anything else.
with that being said, look, not only did we have a storyline last night for football, but we also had a storyline last night in the pit, which was
Yep.
fucking great. Now, when I look back on all of this and I go, there's no video. There's a lot of people saying he said, she said shit, but hearsay in a court doesn't go fucking anywhere. So until I see video of what actually happened, I have to kind of take things at face value. Even fucking Kevin Holland's, hey, you get kicked in the solar plexus, you got to stop cutting weight. Who knows?
I'm wondering-
Maybe the Sparta kick that actually happened was Kevin Holland fucking Sparta kicking Hamzat. We don't
Right.
know. Unless there's video proof, we don't know. And believe me, I'm more on the side of believing that Hamzat fucking Sparta kicked Kevin.
Right.
But that doesn't mean Kevin hasn't done it, because Kevin's done some wild shit.
True.
You gotta think,
Very true.
the day before fights, he's been out stopping fucking criminals on more than one occasion. So it's not like it's a wild thought to think that he's Sparta kicked somebody else that he's not even fighting the fucking day before a fight. I'm just saying.
I think the fact that we didn't get an embedded today shows that, at least to me, tomorrow, Saturday morning early, UFC Embedded 6 will rise like the proverbial cream to the top of the YouTube trending lists.
Oh, god damn it. The cream has been brought back 2 nights in a row. Well, at least you figured out what to do with all that creamer that you got in the house.
I got to do something with it, goddamn it.
No, like when I saw that, I was like, you know what? That does make a little sense coming out of Kevin Holland. But I was like, same time, we don't know who kicked who because we haven't seen video of it. Once I see video footage of it, because God knows, with the amount of fucking people that were back, somebody has video.
Somebody got it.
It's just, we're probably not going to catch video of it until after this weekend is over. That's when we can go back and go, okay, so this is actually what took place. And unfortunately, this isn't to the extent of Conor McGregor and Khabib, where there's cameras everywhere and it's going to get posted immediately because we know it's huge.
Yep.
Unfortunately, these guys, even as big as Khamzat was, minus missing weight, and I'm not making a pun here about his weight, but as big as Khamzat is at this point, it's not enough to make headline news right away. And neither is Nate Diaz, and I love fucking Diaz, but he's no longer headline news anymore. Yes, he's going to sell tickets because it's fucking Diaz. So people are still going to buy the fight tomorrow, which, to be honest, all fuckery aside, minus my fucking text-to-talk interpretations not doing what they're supposed to, it was supposed to is the pay-per-view fucking free at this point? Because it should be at this point.
Right.
It's been completely rearranged the day before. To be honest, this shit should be on fucking CBS, Fox, whoever the fuck they're partnering with.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, ABC.
If it's not free, I would at least appreciate them to be transparent and let us know how many pay-per-views were we on track to sell before this crazy shit.
Right, yeah, how
And then
hard
how
did
many
this
more did
drop
you
an
sell from
anvil
this
on the
crazy
fucking
shit?
snails?
And then
yeah,
if we
'cause you
never
gotta-
get any videos or audio or any of the shit from the backstage, and then you do have that feeling that they sold a lot more pay-per-views for this,
Well,
it's just
and
going to
then-
further my conspiracy theory that this was all a fucking setup.
Here, if you want to go,
I'm still
conspiracy-
happy to get these fucking fight changes, but it was such a fucking circus.
I will happily jump on the fucking conspiracy train right now and say that, you know what? There very well could be a conspiracy going on here because they didn't like that fight idea. And it was a much better fight having Tony fight fucking Diaz on the way out. Because to be honest, right now, I looked just a little bit ago. They have odds at basically a horse apiece. They have fucking basically a 50-50 flip on who wins that fight right now between Tony and fucking Nate. And you know what? I like those fucking odds because that's kind of perfect where fucking Tony is in his career and knowing that Nate Diaz is on the way fucking out.
As of right now, on the official UFC website, it has Nate Diaz as a plus 100, Tony Ferguson as a minus 120.
It's
It is
literally
literally a
fucking
coin flip apart. Yep.
So
And that I think is exactly where it should be.
I
because
know
we're-
this is just my opinion, but I feel like we wouldn't have been as excited about these fights if they set it up this way a couple months ago. So that's just still what kind of drives me to the conspiracy theory. Nobody was really excited when they made these first announcements, or even in the past couple of weeks added these other fights on. We were kind of questioning, well, why are you setting this up for Tony? And then the Kevin Holland fight we were kind of excited about, but it wasn't anything huge. But now it's huge. Like Kevin Holland, if he beats Chimaev, like we were talking about earlier, that's fucking huge. Because then that puts Holland in the fucking title picture in the fucking welterweight division.
Well, and those two have been jawing at each other for the last fucking 2 years.
Yeah, since Kamzat made that fucking
back and forth.
since Kamzat made the fucking comment in front of
It's a
Cowboy.
little fucking plan that they've had cooking up in the past,
And-
at least the
and
past
that-
week since they set up
and-
Holland. They put Tony and Holland on the card just for this fuckery, in my opinion.
Look, I will put it this way: if the tinfoil hat fits, you must acquit. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure that fucking fits at this point. Because it's been going on for 2 fucking years. As much as I hate to say it and be a fucking tinfoil hat guy, because I'm generally a fucking by the books kind of person. But it all fits at this fucking point. And knowing that Diaz is on his fucking way out, and he knows it, who better to have him fight than fucking Tony Ferguson? To be honest, I'll give, God damn it again, credit where credit is due. Credit to fucking Dana for managing to go through all of the fuckery that is afoot, untangle the bullshit, and go, you know what? This works. This works. These two fucking hate each other, obviously, or just want to see who the real gangster is.
Yeah, at least enough to fucking make it work. Yeah.
But I'm still disappointed on fucking the Leech fight. I'm fucking disappointed on that.
I
can
agree with that.
Taking that fight though, like I got so much more respect for him for taking that fight. Fucking 10 pounds different because he, in my opinion, he's gonna lose.
He's up against the 8-ball for damn sure.
Well, they have him as they have the Leech as an underdog right now. If you look at the current odds with him and D-Rod, they have him as an underdog. He's a plus 110 underdog, and I think fucking D-Rod was at like a plus 150 favorite, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the shit pulled up in front of me because, like I said, I've been drinking and I don't care.
Plus 135 for Li Jingliang, minus 155 for D-Rod.
Okay,
so
I was semi
almost as much of a coin flip
Like
as the main event.
I've had a couple White Russians and a whiskey in here, so there's a little bit of a sway in things that are going on. But either way, I feel bad for the Leech because you know what? That's a fucking terrible fight for him. It doesn't do shit for his career, even if he beats the ever living fucking breaks off of D-Rod, because it's a catch weight and it's not in his weight class. And the Leech has been he made the improvements his last fight out to show, hey, that last fucking fight with Kamzat was just a fucking fluke. Shit happens. And he was right back on where he left off. So this is a shitty fucking matchup cut for him. So because even if he wins, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't say, oh, you beat a guy from our division. No, that doesn't do a goddamn thing for him. But on the UFC end of things, fucking Dana did the right thing. He managed to salvage the card together by just flipping the top 3. Because God knows the rest of the card was not going to save this. Because they would have had to cancel it otherwise. But what a fucking hot mess.
I'm curious as to what you guys think about this.
I don't. I gotta address this real quick. Luke, you were not stepping in. I will be just fine. I have stopped drinking as of an hour ago, but I'm just saying, you don't have to step in. We'll be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. It's just a practice. It's not a fucking game. I'm not gonna show up all hungover to a game. Maybe to a practice though. But either way, tomorrow, if you want, you can come over and watch this bullshit fuckery here.
So I got a question for you gentlemen here. At least for me, my biggest curiosity out of all the fuckery that's just been reshuffled in front of us going into tomorrow, we technically had a set of weigh-ins. And then after those weigh-ins had finished and the fights were set, the entire list of the main card fights got reshuffled. Technically, the way everything sits right now, everything lined up as it should have. But that's in the reshuffle. In the original organization of this card, including the weigh-ins this afternoon prior to the actual reshuffling of this card, Khamzat Chimaev missed weight for a contracted bout by almost 8 pounds. By technical rights, according to that contract that he signed, he should be then forfeiting 30% of his purse to Nate Diaz. But then they changed the fight. And now Khamzat made weight for the newly arranged fight that was rescheduled after he had already weighed in and missed weight for his originally contracted fight. So when this is all said and done, does Nate Diaz still get 20% of Khamzat's purse, even though they're not even fighting anymore?
This is where the fuckery comes in. I knew that was going to come. That's why I had to jump in here. But I have to fucking say, he is not going to get that 20%. Neither will fucking Kevin Holland. Do you know why? Because they made it at a fucking catch weight.
Yep.
Where both of them have made the weight. And since that previous contract is null and void, it's automatically catch weight fight. And unfortunately, Diaz gets fucked out of this, which is another way of Big Daddy Dana saying, fuck you, Diaz. We don't need
one more on the way out the door, yeah.
Yep. And to be honest, with all of the fuckery that's afoot, I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Big Daddy Dana went in there and said, comes out, you know what, miss weight. Fuck this shit up. Just so that way I can give him one more fuck you on the way out the door of, you're not going to get the extra 20% or 30%, whatever the fucking case may be.
Unofficially, I say in air quotes for those of you who are listening, someone unofficially maybe heard Dana talking about how that would be funny and then took it upon themselves to like make a phone call to someone who made a phone call to someone who went up to the room at like 3:30 in the morning and knocked on Khamzat's door and went, hey, you don't need to do that anymore.
I'm just saying, by watching that, I would say no, because that would fuck everybody else on the card who had missed weight, including the fucking Beast Boy. Beast Boy missed weight by fucking, 2 pounds or something like that? Pound and a half. Which, okay, that is what it is. We've seen heavyweights miss ones. And as much as I have a lot of respect for him, it does piss me off that he missed weight. Because this one thing we always talk about on the show. It's always, you sign a contract, you know exactly how heavy you need to be for that fight. Do not fucking miss weight. That's part of being a professional. Where that tinfoil hat comes in that Christian was talking about earlier for me is there's fuckery afoot. Where I go, you know what? Maybe Dana had something to do with this. And I go, he probably got in Khamzat's ear about, you know what? Maybe you should miss weight. So that way we can feed him somebody else because he doesn't deserve your kind of money.
Right. Yeah, we'll get you a bigger fight when this one falls through. Just make sure you don't make it look too bad and actually show up and weigh in so we have an official or overweight.
And here's the extra part where the tinfoil comes in. As he misses weight and you hear him say, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. There was obviously a dig at that for a reason. Like he fucking knew it was coming. It wasn't a surprise to him.
Right. He fucking knew. And on the weigh-in show, from the beginning of the fucking weigh-in broadcast, literally within the first 5 minutes of Cormier and fucking all those fucking people being on air live, they had already mentioned that there were rumors flying around that Khamzat Chimaev was having quote-unquote unofficial medical issues that might cause problems with the weigh-ins.
Exactly. And then you see all the people trying to point out the fucking Paulo Costa video of him possibly limping down the stairs where it caused him to have issues. That motherfucker was not limping, because if you see him when they do the final face-offs with him and Kevin Holland, he runs like straight fucking dead-ass runs towards him. No limp. You ain't fucking running if you have a fucking limp of any sort. You can hide your limp, but you ain't fucking running.
Yeah, you ain't gonna run on it though.
No, I'm saying, you know what? There is a possibility of that tinfoil hat shit going on. I'm not a tinfoil hat kind of guy, but I'll be goddamn if after looking at a lot of this shit in the last fucking 3 hours or 4 hours now, that there's some fuckery that's afoot that I
pretty fishy.
UFC has something to do with. and I hate to be that fucking tinfoil hat guy, but there's a strong possibility of that by the way it's looking. And I've seen fucking people out there in fucking random lands going, well, maybe they're gonna fucking cut him because he's fucking a card. No, they're not gonna cut him. He's a big draw. And you know what? When people booed him and he flips off the crowd, guess what? You're Kobe Covington-esque at this point. You're gonna make more money for the fucking company. They're gonna boost your fucking stock.
Yeah, I believe in
now the 279 is a thing
myself a little bit, but I do want to throw this out there. If it was real, right? Like Dana saving this card, it wasn't a setup thing that he had planned out a little bit. I do feel like he had to shell out some fucking extra money to save all these fights. I feel like he did have to pay Kevin Holland a little extra fucking money to actually take on Chimaev. He should have fucking paid Li Liang some extra money. And then I damn sure, like,
fucking suit
I don't think anybody's getting purses, right? Because like we said earlier, they switched it to catch weights. But to sign the new contract, because right before everything got, made official, when he went live on Instagram today, we were still in that series that this was a rumor, like them setting these fights up. It was a rumor, but it was like they're trying to work on it. Nothing. They're working on the fights, but nothing's done yet. So it was like they fucking scrapped everything and then reworked these matches and like gave them new contracts, kind of thing. Is how it sounded before we got the official news. So it's like if this wasn't pre-planned, set up, and the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory idea, I feel like Dana White, is probably really upset because he had to shell out a hell of a lot more money than he first intended on this fucking fight just to keep it a fucking
Dana White shelled out money, but it wasn't company money. Garen fucking teed. He went in there with his own personal money. Oh, it's your birthday today? You get an extra fucking $250,000. You get an extra fucking $500,000. I'm just saying, he gives random fucking $500,000s and $250,000s away to people who have nothing to do with the fight game. So,
I actually saw somebody with a theory about that the other day, though. The reason that Dana White does shit like give random YouTubers $250,000 cash or give some of the fighters unofficial bonuses out of his personal account and not UFC official money is because then they don't have any right, A, to say that Dana doesn't take care of them because he gave them personal money, not business money. B, the investors can't say shit about how he's doing that because he's not doing it with the company money.
Exactly.
So it gives Dana White the leeway to do weird, unofficial shit like that. At the same time, is almost making him look good for it. Like almost.
It's also kind of a nice thing, right? Because if it's a gift, then they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Exactly.
If they're getting paid, then it's like their job. Like if they get the bonuses, they got to pay the taxes on that shit.
How much did you pay for that car? Oh, $100 because it was a gift. Okay, no taxes. Same fucking concept.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, look, as much as I hate to be the tinfoil hat guy after watching a lot of this shit, there's some random tinfoil hat shit that's going on in my fucking dome. And it may not be from the White Russians or the shot of whiskey, whatever the case may be. But either way, looking at it from outside of what my normal view is, because my normal view is I'm a straightforward fucking straight shooter when it comes to this shit. There's some major amount of fuckery going on in order for this card to have even come back to fruition after it being pretty much canceled. And I will say canceled because the second he fucking missed weight by 7.5 pounds, that card in my eyes was fucking canceled. Done.
I was right. Like we weren't having. I assumed they were going to shut the whole fucking thing down. Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I was going to be really pissed that we had a fucking final pit finale for the first round of the Grand Prix for no fucking reason. Like, I was going to write into the commission and say, hey, we need to fucking run that back. Yeah. But because they brought it all back together, I'm going to let it stand. I'm not going to write the commission, even though it should be written. But, there's definitely some fuckery afoot there of some shape, way, or form. Now, what the fuckery is, I don't know. I can't say that it is Dana White. I can't say that it is the UFC because I don't know. But there's some sort of fuckery afoot in order to make that all come back together. Because you look at any other card in history where some weird shits like this happens, they canceled it. There's only been a few canceled cards. Go back and look at them. They're in the same category as this. There's a reason why this one came back together, and that's because there's fuckery afoot.
I mean, to be fair, I get it. I really don't blame Dana White at this point. We do put on the best MMA podcast in the world, and having all that glorious pit for nothing would have been an extreme travesty in the MMA environment. And we don't need that kind of toxicity in the community. But I'm glad that he decided to change his mind at the last minute, so we don't have to go that far with it.
Exactly. You know, still a little weird. That's all I'm saying. And
I agree.
I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, but I have to mention it because I just went in and did it. If you are part of our Tapology group, so I have something to recap next week, please go back in and fix your fucking picks because they have rearranged everything and you have to redo every one of your picks. Not just the other cards that were already set in stone that haven't changed, but you have to repick the new 3 fucking fights on there. So go in there and fix that shit.
Yeah, that's how I was going to close it, but I'm glad I don't have to because I was going to possibly forget that as well. So yes, if you haven't yet, go make sure your Tapology picks are reset because with all this fuckery afoot, you got to get them relinked. And that being said, if you are on Tapology, which does not endorse or support this podcast in any way, shape, or form, there's a group called ImNoBookie, all one word, group 965, if you need to search it that way as well, that you are more than welcome to create your account and apply to join, because tomorrow, as with every single day, there is a UFC event during that day. When the premier prelim fight starts, so will on this very channel a live real-time updating stream of all the Tapology picks from the folks in that group who care to have their picks broadcast, with some lovely Adam and Eddie and the Arsons for your ear holes to enjoy during the broadcast. So if you have not yet, make sure before tomorrow afternoon, because the picks lock 4 hours before the first fight, I believe. So before tomorrow afternoon, make sure you get your updated picks locked in on Tapology. And if you would like to be a part or have your card with picks broadcast on this very stream, and it is not normally, all you have to do is DM me with the little link that they give you once you lock your picks in on Tapology. We will get you thrown in and you will be part of the slideshow. That being said, I think that's about all we've got for this particular episode. Either one of you gentlemen have anything we need to get out of here before we get out of here?
No, keep your tinfoil hats on this week because shit's fucking weird.
All right. That being said, folks, if you enjoy what we get up to around here, make sure you've got your notification bell turned on and you are subscribed on whatever platform you are getting this through. Obviously, this one is only going to be able to get gotten through youtube.com/ImNoJoe, but the normal full Thursday night ImNoJoe podcast not only broadcast live Thursday nights here on YouTube, but also the week after it airs, it is released in all audio format through anchor.fm/ImNoJoe to be picked up on your podcast consumption platform of choice. So either one of those are available for you. If you want to help what we do around here for as little as $1 a month, you get your name as a thank you on the end of every single broadcast we do, and it gives you access to the unaired and literally unairable Too Hot for OnlyFans content that we have luckily been able to slide right over into our Patreon with no issue. For as little as $1 a month, you get all those goodies as well, and it helps us do what we get up to around here. On the other hand, though, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, why the fuck are you still here this deep into a podcast that you don't enjoy? That being said, though, give us a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, we're going to call it all for this particular little bonus episode tonight. Tune in tomorrow during the main card for our live update stream, but we are going to call that all for this evening. So until next time, folks, remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything, unless it's counts out making welterweight.
Or White Russians.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye?